The Aggies travel down to South Florida to take on the Hurricanes. We've got a spread set at A&M -4 and an over-under of 51. So many questions. Who are the Aggies? Who are the Hurricanes? Are they improved? What's the Fisher-Petrino relationship? What's the relationship between Cristobal and the rest of Miami? Right? What's going on in these two places? A lot to talk about. Not sure how to build my conversation because I don't know what to build it on.
Yep.
However, two big brands, two big names, big game, 3:30, ABC. We got to talk about it. Where do you think this is going?
Boy. Here's what when I talked about not being sure what Vegas was doing with Colorado -3 hosting Nebraska. This is the type of stuff. This is the juice that Vegas could have done with that game on a smaller scale. They've got Texas A&M -4 here, and I think this game really belongs as like a pick 'em, like dead even. We don't know which way it's going to go because, like you just said, the unknowns about these teams who look good in week one matchups against inferior opponents. But again, what are they going to be coming off of just atrocious years at their respective schools and against their respective schedules last year? Who are they going to be? Mm-hmm. I was looking back at 2022's version of this game in College Station, and I'm not sure how Miami lost it because they had two backs averaging over five per carry.
Mm-hmm.
They did miss two field goals. They would have still lost that game 17-16 if they made them. So it looks like they would get down the field and not be able to convert those into touchdowns is what it looks like. Can they do that? Because Texas A&M, they're going to have plenty of speed on that defense. They're going to be pretty feisty in the trenches. I think you can cleanly say. So what's that Miami offensive line going to look like? What's Tyler Van Dyke going to look like?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of buzz historically for that guy. Can he live up to it? And can Connor Weigman do the same thing for A&M? Because I don't know if you know this or not, but he actually got some Heisman bump based on their victory last week over Sisters of the Poor and Blind and those people. He actually got some Heisman buzz over that game. Okay, my gut, perhaps I'm being one of those SEC clowns here, but I think my gut tells me that Miami has a little bit more to work out holistically, not just on their offense like we've seen with A&M at times. So my gut tells me that A&M could win this game by a touchdown or two and cover plus win. I think that's what I'm going to ride with because sure, both teams looked bad last year, but I guess at least A&M didn't get smoked at home by MTSU. There weren't things like that happening in College Station, though they did lose to Appalachian State and had several head scratchers. I'm going to ride with the Aggies. Not a ton of confidence at all, if you can't hear that in my voice. And did we say 51? We did. My God, I'm going under on that, dude. I'm sorry. I know that's not much to ask. That's only 2 or 3 touchdowns apiece. This all and a field goal here or there is all that's asking for. I can't say that right now. Maybe it's a shootout. I'm hoping for a fun game.
For sure.
Because that is ahead of Tennessee's kickoff. I'll certainly have eyes on it. But I can't go over 51 with what we know about these teams right now.
Completely and totally fair. I'm gonna ride with you on this bus, and I'm gonna ride with the Aggies as well. Just because if we're comparing this off of week one, which they both played nobodies, and we're basing it off last year, which they were both on the struggle bus, I have to default to paper. I think, who's better on paper, and I really like the Aggie roster. These guys are still loaded, and that's no discredit to Miami and what Cristobal has done in the portal. You referred to them as the portal kings last year, something along those lines.
They're trying to be. They are trying to be for sure.
Well, maybe Dabo can take an email or two on that. You mentioned Connor Weigman. He threw 5 scores against the School for the Art and the Blind. Not bad. Kind of hard to do, even if you are playing University of New Mexico.
Yeah.
18 for 23, 236. I have a little bit of questions about their running game. 7 for 51, 6 for 26. The 7 for 51
my next point away from me. Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, that is a 7.3 yard average. 29 for 134 is barely under 5 per carry, though. And then you have Miami, who played Miami, which might have been because of the Miami, Ohio quarterback providing some locker room material and referring to themselves as the real Miami. Whatever, neither here nor there, I reckon. Tyler Van Dyke, 17 for 22, 201, a touchdown and a pick. I believe it's Henry Parrish Jr. Henry?
Still there, still in college.
Yeah. 9 for 90, 10 yards of carry and a score. I come back to basically everything that I led off with. I'm going to take the Aggies just because a lot of questions on both. I mean, MTSU came into your building and broke the U over their knee.
Oh,
I don't think that seasons necessarily carry over, but stuff like that's hard to get past and you have to overcome it. If you can beat A&M, I think that might be something to wipe away those tears. You would think home field advantage would be a thing. That's non-existent in Miami.
Got something for you on that too.
Well, the fans only show up when they win. So you beat A&M, you do it soundly, you'll probably have fans start filtering back into Hard Rock Stadium, which is located off-site from, Miami's campus.
Well, you will, because if you buy a ticket to this game, you get a BOGO deal for when they host Georgia Tech later in the year. That's where they're at right now.
That's Vanderbilt stuff.
That's Vanderbilt stuff. Go get your ticket at Barnes & Noble if you're Vanderbilt. And then Miami, they're going to do a BOGO deal for a ticket later on.
My goodness. What was this point that you were going to make?
That was the one for the fans. The other thing is that I'll probably like Miami's rushing attack a little bit better. Henry Pear still being there. None of the Aggies, the Texas A&M rushing attack being back from last year. So perhaps I like Texas A&M through the air a little bit more, where I like Miami on the ground a little bit more. But I think for that to really have an effect, they'd have to cash in early, be able to put some pressure on Texas A&M on the clock because these games are just flying by. Mm-hmm. And you're seeing the number of drives deteriorate as Kiffin and Chip Kelly many have complained about. You and I have done it. So I think that's what it would take for Miami is to really get it going early, put pressure on the clock, make A&M be efficient when they are driving the football. But again, I think they would have to do that in order to really cash in them.
Agreed. So we're both taking the under of 51, and we're both taking A&M to cover, correct?
We are.
Over under 51, we take the under. A&M covers the -4. Aggies go to Coral Gables and get the win.